Parshas told us probably the central idea, or the episode that captures the most attention, is Yaakov going and deceiving Yitzchak in order to get the bracha. So there are several questions that have to be dealt with in order to understand what's going on here. The first question is, Rivka Imenu sends Yaakov, and she uses a very strong lashon. She says, she gives him a tzivui to go in, a command. And the idea behind her giving him a command is she wants to turn it into a mitzvah of kibbutz, because Esav has one schus, everybody knows the schus of kibbutz av, and in order to counteract Esav's schus, Yaakov has to have that schus, the schus of serving his parents, as an act of Mesiras Nefesh. She certainly doesn't want to be involved in doing this right now. Therefore, she makes it a command. Yet, when Yaakov says to her, Ulai Yunusheni Avi, maybe my father will touch you, I'll be like a mocker. I'll bring a curse, he's going to curse me. So Rivka says back to him, I'll take the curse. Now that's very strange. How do you just take a curse? Well, don't you worry, I'll take it. Like people say, I called it. I called it. You can't call things. I called the curse. You called the last piece of cake. You can't call a curse. So what does it mean? I'll take the curse. So Targum Onkelos on the spot says, Olais Amra Binavua Delo Yesu Levatayela. I was told prophecy that you're not going to be cursed. So that puts an entire spin on the entire story. That the whole thing is a nevuah. That Rivka is sending Yaakov based on a nevuah to go get that bracha from Yitzchak. And then when Yaakov goes in, so he says, Vayomer Yaakov Elavi Anochi Esav Bechorecha. Because it is I, Esav, your firstborn. And Rashi says, what did Yaakov mean when he said Anochi Esav Bechorecha? He meant Anochi, it is I who's bringing the food. Esav Bechorecha, Esav is your Bechor. In other words, a little white lie. If technically Yaakov didn't lie. Anochi, it is I who am bringing. Esav Bechorecha, Esav is your firstborn. I mean, Yaakov is trying to deceive his blind elderly father. We're trying to deceive him. What's with the let's bend over backwards and show how it's true? And the answer to that is that even when a person is allowed to lie, for example, for shalom bayis, whether he is allowed to lie for his own shalom bayis is a question. And even if he is allowed to, al pi halacha, it's a very bad idea. But here, Yaakov is teaching us that even when one has to lie, is allowed to lie, try to minimize it. A lie by definition corrupts a person. And therefore, if you're going to lie, try to minimize the lie as much as possible. Anochi, Esav Bechorah. Esav is your firstborn. Try to minimize it. But then comes the biggest question of all. The biggest question of all is, did they really think they're going to get away with this? I mean, honestly, Yaakov puts some goat skins on his arm and a goat skin on his neck by way of costume that is far from an elaborate deception. Yitzchak's going to touch him. What if Yitzchak fakes high and goes low, and instead of touching his arm, he touches his belly, and he sees that his belly isn't hairy like Esau's? What's going to be that? Or what if a piece slips off? It's not an elaborate costume, and it's not an elaborate form of deception. So how did they even have a havamina that they were going to get away with this? So our first answer really explains the entire story. The first says, look, it's likely that all along Yitzchak and Rivka had a machlokas, Hashem Shemayim, on how to learn up Esav. What is this Esav? Is this Esav somebody who can be worked with? Is this Esav somebody who has got a role in the future of Klal Yisrael? He's the Ish Sada who's going to be eventually part of Yaakov. It's going to be a shutfus. Or is Esav a deceiver? And he's pulling the wool over Yitzchak's eyes, which is where the expression comes from. Where is Esav? Machlokas between Yitzchak and Rivka all along. Rivka has been insisting that Esav is deceiving Yitzchak. Yitzchak has been saying all along, no, Esav is, I know what he is. So Rivka has one last chance. She sends in Yaakov with a flimsy, Yaakov the Ishtam, with a flimsy costume, at the moment that Esav walks in, and Yitzchak says to Esav, So who was that other guy who came in and brought the food? At that moment, Yitzchak realizes he'd been deceived. But he realizes even more. He realizes that if this is Esav in front of him and he's been deceived by Yaakov, the Ishtam, with a flimsy costume. Oh, if a Yaakov could deceive me, imagine what this Esav has been doing to me all along. And that's why Vayecher ad Yitzchak Charada Gedola. It wasn't that he was trembling because he was afraid of Esav. He was trembling because he almost gave the bracha to the wrong person, and it was only saved at the last moment by his wife. And that's why he ratifies the bracha by saying, Gam Baruch Yiyeh. I've given him the bracha. I realized now all along my wife was right. It was Esav who was trying to deceive me. Gam Baruch Yiyeh. Yaakov gets the bracha.